sensitive kind of situations now in the new generation. Like, people just can't seem to figure the right kind of format
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
And like, just you being like, now you also like can be considered like a public figure, right?
Yeah.
Is it problematic, like, let's say when you're dating someone and like, of course you're like Miss
Indeed.
India Kenya, right?
Yeah.
Worldwide. And like, let's say things like, do you get crazy DMs and stuff?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah. How's your DM like? How's your DM like?
Oh,
How's your DM situation like since?
I get funny ones. I get some really interesting things. But that's the thing. Like, you always gotta take it with a grain of salt and humor. And the good thing
Yeah.
is, like with anyone who's public, like you really hope to find someone who's accepting and solid with that. And so, like, it's occasionally when I get like a really funny DM, and I have some really great ones. Like, and fortunately, I haven't really gotten any. Naughty or scandalous ones. So
Really?
I've actually been very lucky, touch wood.
You've been very fortunate because
Yeah.
guys are crazy.
Yeah, no, so the good thing is, luckily, I've
Yeah.
just had more, like, just people complimenting me, or people, like, sending me funny things. Like, I have
Yeah.
someone who, I don't even know, who just sends me cool DIY art videos. And I'm like, all right, cool, that works.
Yeah.
But yes, I think, sometimes I have interesting people slide into my DMs, but I'm very open about it with the person who I'm dating. And, sometimes there's something funny.
So you let them see your DM?
We'll laugh about it.
Like, how's that? Because we're talking about like this whole situation, this social media era and stuff.
Yes.
Like, because even a lot of people actually just break up just because of social media and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So does like your partner have, like I was telling you, like there's another segue that I'm saving for, like, August and everything.
Yes.
Do you let like does your partner have like password for your phone, such situations, such things?
So, I mean, like,
Do they get to go through your DM?
Yeah, so we have been in a relationship for a long time, and
Yeah.
obviously, like,
Couple of years?
yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, we're young.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been rocky. There've been lots of ups and downs. And just recently as well, there were a lot of again, problems with being a public figure.
Yeah.
Like, I would just go out and I would say hi to a friend, and people would immediately start talking. And you know how, at least in my social circle,
I saw so
rumors
and so, I
just
saw so
fly,
and so.
So just to mitigate the damage, I'm just like full transparency. So, like, the thing
yeah.
is, like, his approach is, if I have to check your phone, it means I don't trust you, and then I'm not going to be in a relationship with a person who I don't trust, right? So he wouldn't check my phone, but, like, he knows all the passwords. It's fully open. If he
Really?
has to look at it, it's fine.
You give out your passwords?
I mean, to him.
Oh yeah, no, of course not to everyone.
like-
I'm just saying to him.
Yeah, and, like, to my
Do you check?
close
Do you
friend.
check his phone?
No, I don't. Again, same thing.
You
Like,
don't?
it's just, it's very open. So, like, if I'm curious and if he's texting someone, like, as a joke, I'll, like, maybe look over. And I mean, it's normal. I fully admit, like, I'm sometimes like, who are you talking to? Like,
Been
and
chatting for a while now.
yeah, and,
Yeah.
and you get curious, and but the thing is, like, you just trust the person, and I think
Yeah.
if you're just open and if you have nothing to hide, then there's no
Yeah.
problem. But I feel like if someone, like, just generally speaking, if someone needs to monitor, like, who you're texting and who you DMing or who you talking, like, why are you talking to this person? And if there's, like, these questions, then it's it's like, how much do you trust the person? And, like, if you can't even trust a person with what they do on their phone, like,
Yeah.
how can you trust them in the relationship? And
Oh,
if
you-
you're in it for the long run,
Yeah.
how are you, how are you going to start a family with them, or have a joint bank account, or live
true,
together,
man.
So I think it's just
It's like one of the smallest things, but if you just think about it, it's like that only, just that whole password and just access
Yeah.
to it, like that just is a whole other step that you take just when being in a relationship
Yeah.
that just proves so much.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I think it's
Yeah.
just showing that, like, a phone is very personal, right? So I
Yeah.
think just by the fact of like you giving them the password,
Mhm.
it's just even showing like I have nothing to hide. Like full transparency, what you want to know, you can see. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you'd have to kill me to see my DM.
I'm sure you probably got lots of tea in there going on.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, no, I
Yeah,
think
I just don't know how people do it, and that's why it's so crazy. Because even at times, I just start like seeing someone,
yeah,
and I respect people who are at that level because I know it's like so much
Yeah.
commitment. It's a very big step.
it is, and but that's the thing as well, right? So I haven't been like, so if I was like like to go back into the dating scenes for some unfortunate reason, which I pray never happens, like I wouldn't know what to do because I haven't been single in a really long time. Like I've had periods, but like to properly start dating people,
Again, yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
And I think that obviously that level of trust comes after time. So if
Yeah.
I just started dating someone, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, here's my phone password and full transparency then. But I think it's like after time when you've sort of developed that deeper connection with someone.
Yeah,
And
if it's
you
after
both know
years,
it's
this is just like
serious.
somebody who's part of you. It's just like
Yeah, exactly. So it's again, it's all in moderation. But it's interesting because he's completely anti-social media. He is very underground, very low key.
That's proper. Trust me, you're at a happy space.
So no,
That's
but-
the safest place to be in. Because if it was out there and it's somebody who's like outgoing, because like
Yeah.
let's think about it this way. What if it was somebody? Let's say if you're dating somebody,
who's equally as social.
and that's why
or-
I ask a lot of people, think about it. Would you rather date somebody who's in your kind of field?
Yeah.
Because they understand entertainment and everything,
Yeah, yeah.
or would you rather date somebody who's a contrast to that environment,
Yeah.
and they kind of like just like you do your thing, let me do my thing.
Yeah.
I don't really have to keep up with like what's going on with entertainment and all
Yeah.
that you're doing.
So I mean, it's
Is it easier dating somebody who's at a completely different field?
So yes and no. So
Mhm.
like there's the element of it being really good because it's like he's very very opposite to me, and I'm trying to take it as a really good thing because like in ways where I'm floating he'll ground me, or
Yeah.
ways that he's strong I'm weak, or like I'd say it's like a balance. There's a little bit of what he can bring to the table I don't have, what I can
Yeah.
bring to the table he doesn't have, so we kind of the cliche, we help complete each other. But also at the same time, it is difficult because he doesn't, like, for example, he just refuses to look at my Instagram stories. Or he'll never like my photos, he'll never comment on it. And I mean, it's something that's important to me.
What?
So we do have a little bit of
Trust
like,
me, that's a good thing. You don't want him to be all over
Well,
like your social
maybe.
media.
Well,
I know,
exactly.
but
So
it's
it
maybe
is-
because you miss it, and then you're like,
Yeah.
I really need this like kind of like attention. But I just think,
I mean, so it's kind of, so it is like, sometimes I'm just like, like why aren't you like? Did you see? And he was like, oh, I saw, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know you saw. So it's just like an interesting banter, but that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like he's so opposite, but his friends and his family and just like the people who he's interacted with are very big on social media as well. So he understands and he supports me, and like when if I need someone to help me take photos, like I'll make him wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
for me, and he'll support me where it counts.
yeah,
And I think that's more important. Like a lot of times in relationship in today's age, it's so much so public. Like people just want to look
everybody's
good
in your
with
business.
someone and
Yeah,
take photos and post of each other on the internet, and it's very a public display.
Ah,
Right, but I think that
Another
if
thing,
they're
like-
not supporting you like in
Yeah.
the personal, like behind the camera, I
Yeah.
think that's more important, and I 100% feel like I would pick that than someone who's
another question.
yeah.
Another question. Now that we're talking about this, and this is so interesting, because there is a whole trend right now of where like this is for women.
Yeah.
You don't like. First of all, you have amazing Instagram pictures.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing, nice pictures.
I appreciate it.
there's a whole trend where like now if you're in any situation that's serious, you don't post your man on Instagram at all.
Yeah.
Or if you do, you do the big emoji face thing.
I think that's a bit extreme for to completely hide off their face.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I do get it though. Like with a lot of people, like again, relationships are sometimes very volatile, and to go public with it, like I just feel like you just unnecessarily need to justify yourself to a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Because especially like with relationships, it's your business, it's between you and the other person, like nothing else should matter, right? So now if you're making it public, right, and how many people are looking at your Instagram, your profiles, and if something were to happen, how many people do you need to explain yourself to? It's a lot, but then at the same time as well, there's the element of like, did it really happen if it wasn't on social media, right?
That's always safe. That's
So it is difficult because
Or-
when it comes to like things like weddings or engagements or like big milestones, I would say maybe, but I don't think it's right for people to like flood their whole Instagram with their significant
actually
other.
instead of like a baby reveal, now you'll do a boyfriend reveal.
Actually, yeah, no, I've
on
seen
Instagram.
people do that.
Yeah.
Like some of these famous people who I follow, and it's just crazy how that works out.
Yeah, but I think I've also had like just from some women that they do that because there's also this whole toxic thing that once you post like, let's say you're a public figure,
Yeah.
you post like your boyfriend, now other girls start DMing your boyfriend.
Oh. Well, the good thing is he's again not really on social media, so he's like an
Hey.
unknown person.
That's a blessing. I'm telling you, that's a blessing.
But I can imagine though, like
Yeah.
it's
Because if somebody doesn't like you and they're single, what do they do?
yeah, predators. But again, it just comes to the fact that you just need to trust the person, and like if you're unsure, like oh, he's gonna get a DM from another girl and go meet her, like should you really be with this guy?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a deeper element of trust. So even if you're going out with like the most famous dude on Instagram, like as long as he's solid with you, I mean you could get 100,000 million DMs for all you care, but as long as you're solid,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's the main
He
thing.
still respects you and everything.
Yeah,
Oh my God, is this a B?
it's a B. It's cool. I don't mind bugs. It'll just be our addition to our podcast.
You think? Thank God. Okay, so yeah, another question that I normally just ask everyone, because like even if you notice, like from my platform on the podcast,
Yes.
my audience and just guests quite diverse.
Yeah. Yeah.
From
it's good.
Kenyans, Ethiopians, Somalis, Indians, white people. Like you'll just see a group. When it comes, it's super diverse.
Yeah.
What do you think of interracial dating, especially?
Mhm.
We're specifically talking this. Like, let's say you're Indian, right?
Yeah. Well, half. Yeah.
Or half Indian, half.
Finnish.
Yeah, okay, now yeah. Where do I categorize you? That's,
Well, that's the thing, right?
but
so
when
I'm
you're in Kenya, how do you identify as Indian, right? You don't?
I don't know. It's difficult. So that's the thing, right? So I feel very stigmatized because I look Indian.
Yeah.
But like the way I've been brought up is so Western.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
so yeah. So that's so like with your question, I'm a product of an interracial marriage, right? And
Oh yeah, okay.
and so like I'm all for it. Like at the same time, it's so great because you grow up with the best of both worlds. You also grow up with the worst of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's actually you're a certain type of person called a third culture kid,
Yeah.
TCK, and it's interesting because it's an underlying current that shapes your whole identity. So you're neither belonging to one culture completely because you're also belonging to another. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like you're. I think that's another reason why I didn't really have like feeling like I had friends or people who related to me. Because like my upbringing was so different and like I moved schools in between, so I still used to be friends with my people in the old school, but also I was going to a new school, and in my new school it was full of expats and people from the UN, so people would come and go, so I'd
People
have
are
friends
just
for
different,
a
yeah.
few weeks or months and then they were gone and
Yeah.
then be someone else. So So that's the thing, like it's interesting how like that molds your identity, but I think it's great because I don't know, I read some like funny fact one day that like soon the whole world's just going to merge into like a
True.
collective, like everyone's just going to
Yeah.
intermarry, and we're just going to have like one race that's a combination of
Yeah.
everyone else. But I think it's good to have diversity in the world, and as long as you're acknowledging your roots, and you're paying tribute to both cultures, like it's a good thing.
Okay, now we're going to you specifically.
Yes.
If you found yourself, let's say you were single,
Yes.
and there's this black guy who likes you, he
Yes.
approaches you, and he has all these qualities and stuff. Would you be, because like every time, like in Kenya, it's very super common in Kenya.
Yeah.
Every time like an Indian girl and a Kenyan guy
Yeah,
like
I
me date, straight headlines.
Yeah.
It's always on the headlines because we
Yeah.
have like these families clashing and everything.
Yeah.
But let's say you're in that situation and you liked someone, would you date a black person
Yeah. Well, so like
if they met like your qualifications?
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
definitely. Like I'm not opposed to stigmatizing. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw Radhika under the bus, but Radhika and I, like when we were in university, so we were in university together. Like there were some, so not Kenyans though, but like there were a few like black people who were just really, really attractive.
She said that on the podcast. She
yeah,
said that.
no, and I think that it's definitely like again, so for me personally, it's more
Yeah.
of like a cultural understanding. So obviously I just get along with Indians or Western people more because that was my upbringing.
Yeah.
Whereas if I, probably found someone who aligned on the same, path as me.
Yeah,
like
it's
if
just
we had
because of
same
the
mentality.
environment, situation.
Yeah, and if if I was physically attracted to them and stuff, like why not, kind of thing. Although I do know, like if I wasn't in Kenya itself, I would be like, yeah, like if I was in the UK and if I found a black person who I was attracted to and we hit it
Yeah.
off, maybe.
Yeah.
But like in Kenya, I do definitely see, though, like being more in the Indian community, there is some like tension.
Or it's gonna be headlines.
Yeah.
First of all,
So I know
Miss India Kenya worldwide.
Oh,
What?
yeah. I mean, hey, at least you're really reaching out to your roots and really embracing being
Yeah.
Kenyan. So, I mean, it is a controversial topic.
It is, especially like in Kenya, and I think you know what I'm talking about. It's
Yeah.
always like super like on the headlines and everything.
Yeah, so I don't.
And I think it's just cause we never like every time that happens, there's always like a silence about it. Like people
Yeah.
never talk about it. But the only thing is like right now, people are interacting in so many different ways in social media,
Yeah,
meetups,
yeah. And it's-
social events, gatherings, everything. Like people are like blending almost everywhere, and
Yeah.
you're not in control of who likes who anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just like I fully believe in like a globalized world,
Mm-hmm.
and like love has no color. So if you start to love a person for who they are as a person, like, and
Yeah.
if they make you happy and bring out the best in you, then go for it.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so just another question on just when this comes to just dating, like what's a typical like date for you? Like what makes you like, let's say if you're going out, what would be like just an ideal?
Date.
Yeah. Is it going out for food? Is it
Hmm.
popping bottles of champagne? Is it
A little bit of everything. I don't know.
I mean, just saying, like on it typically, like if you.
Well, I must say though, I like food,
Mhm.
and I'm very much a fine dining kind of gal. So if you wine me and dine me well, I'm very happy. And yeah, I do enjoy going out because again, I'm really social. It's for me,
Yeah.
it's not even going out to get drunk, but I love to dance. I love a dancing environment.
Yeah.
If you want to go dance with me one night, I'm like all for it. Like just interactive dates as well. But I think interactive dates come a little bit further along the line. But I remember one of my first disaster dates that I had. I wasn't too sure about this guy, and you just kind of like go, you just go.
Yeah.
And I was super young. I just was getting into high school, and I was like, all right, well, someone asked me on a date. I'm just gonna see how it goes.
Yeah.
And we went mini golfing, and the standard like, oh, I'll show you how to like how to hit the ball or whatever. And I was just like, no, please, no. I mean, for
I
someone
know how
else-
to do it. Yeah.
Yes, I mean it's anything interactive. I don't know. I'm not really particularly fussy. I mean, at the same time, when I like fine dining, if you took me like camping and like in the middle of nowhere where I had to dig a toilet, and but if it was still really cute and you could watch the stars and
Yeah.
camp out, like I wouldn't mind that either. So I'm super versatile. Like I don't know. I'm both a tomboy and a girly girl. Like I'm very both ends of the spectrum.
You've mentioned just a silly question, right?
Yes.
Because you've mentioned about dancing and everything.
Yes.
I mean, you like going out to dance, and you've been dancing, of course, since you were a kid.
13 years. Yeah.
13. So, big question.
Yes.
Does your boyfriend have the rhythm dance? Because you love dancing.
He says he doesn't, but I'm like, you can. Let me go out and like I get him on the dance floor. It's good fun. So
But he catches up with
yeah,
just.
of course. So it's
Okay.
good. It's good
Okay.
fun.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that way, although I keep telling him, I'm like, I want to go for salsa lessons. So maybe one day we'll go together.
Nice. So I think like we've touched on like so much,
I know.
but also just a little, like I think like two questions that I had written down for you.
Cool.
One is just about like your vegan diet,
Ah.
because I think like when I went to your other page on Instagram,
Yeah, it's
I
China.
noticed that you've posted a little bit of like just
Yeah.
meal plans and something
Yeah,
of the
so my
sort.
snacks and what I'd eat.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I need to put more effort into that page. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna really try to grow, like share and, like I said, educate
Yeah.
people a little bit more.
Like you actually talk you're very like I think people would be intrigued like if
Yeah.
you post videos. I'm just surprised that you actually don't post videos,
Yeah, no, I'm trying to. So
especially since you've been doing it since you're like
yeah, no,
kid.
I think
Yeah.
you might just be like the right kick for me to
Yes,
start posting
you
videos.
You should.
So yeah, no, I definitely feel like even if it's not many, but I think it would be
Yeah,
good for
just occasional ones.
sometimes to share. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I
Yeah, the vegan.
became vegan, yeah, like
Mhm.
I would say right before I went to university.
Mhm.
So I was dancing a lot because I had my final graduation thing, and it was so physically demanding. I remember feeling so lethargic, so tired all the time.
Mhm.
I just didn't feel healthy or vibrant,
Mhm.
and I was like, what, like why, And so, I mean, I've always come from a health conscious family, so I credit my mom to my healthy eating just because she's such a big believer on it.
Yeah.
And so, I would just sometimes when I come back from school, I love watching what I eat in a day videos on YouTube. I find it so inspiring,
Yeah.
and especially when there's like healthy stuff. It makes the healthy food look really good, and then it's like, oh, I really want to eat a salad after this, and I really
Yeah.
want to make a nice big healthy salad.
Yeah.
So I would watch a lot of what I eat in a day videos. I remember seeing these girls eating massive amounts of food and just being vibrant and looking healthy and being like, wow, like I really want to be that. Like, what can I do? And I found that a lot of them had a common theme of being vegan. Right? So I was like, let me look into this diet. And I remember trying it out, I was like, I'm just going to do like a week's vegan challenge. And I remember just eating what I saw other people eat on the internet. So lots of smoothie bowls, big green salads. And I remember like I woke up the next day and my skin was clearer. And I kid you not, I describe it to like just literally taking like Red Bulls, but like happy energy, and I just was bubbly and vibrant, and there was such a
Really?
visible difference. Same my mom, and like my mom wasn't too sure about the vegan diet, but she saw the change in me, and even my
Yeah.
friends were like, whoa, like who
Yeah.
is this person?
You actually feel different.
Yeah, and I felt so good, and after that I was like, this is incredible. So I say I went vegan for the health initially,
yeah.
but then as I stuck with it, I got more into the animal rights, and it just became such a passion about how the food I ate had an impact on the world. So like even like I'm such an environmentalist. So even about pollution and deforestation and, you know, like just all things environment related, like even the food you eat has such a big impact. So yeah, just trying to be environmental and doing it for the animals, and now it's just become a whole package where yeah, I just love eating what I'm eating, and I feel like what I eat has a positive impact and can change the world. So that's why I love being plant-based.
Just don't pay too much attention to what I eat, clearly.
Yeah, no. So I think that's one thing with
But
the world
yeah.
today. People don't see the link between what's on their plate, where
Yeah.
it comes from, how much it impacts the environment around it. So I think it's just a snippet of being mindful in the bigger picture in the world.
And even besides that, we just saw the meat expose the other day in Kenya.
Oh
No, you didn't see it?
no, I did not.
I mean, that's a whole other different story for another day. But
Oh gosh.
let me just ask one more question before we wrap up the podcast, right?
Okay.
What are some of your hobbies just outside what people see on Instagram?
So,
What
like I
else?
said, I'm very productive.
Yeah.
So, I like to read. I don't know. At the current moment, like I just don't feel like I ever have free time. So, like always, my free time, end up doing something. Like for example, it's a Sunday and it's my free Sunday, and I'm here doing a podcast with you. And then I'm gonna go home and I'm probably gonna like meal prep. So at least starting my 22nd year tomorrow, I have like a full week's worth of food ready. And yeah, I just, I mean, sometimes my downtime is like watching TV. Again, it's very rarely not on my own, but it's with other people waving, saying hi.
Is that your friend?
I don't know them, but I like to say hi to everyone. But yeah.